Good morning. Happy Friday. I think I need to be wearing a hat. So, we of course have talked a ton about state management because it's the baseline to everything. Remember, if you can manage your state, then you have everything. If you can't manage your state, then you have nothing. So, we know that there's three ways to manage our state. There's physiology, there's language/meaning, and then there's focus. So whatever you focus on, where focus goes, energy flows. Physiology, of course, is your physical body. And then language/meaning we've talked about a number of times, but it bears talking about more and more and more because, this seriously is where it all is. Remember that at the end of the day, what we really want are emotions. And the meaning we give to things creates emotions. Those emotions create your life, how you feel about your life. Do you have a happy life or not? Whether or not you have a happy life doesn't really have anything to do with what happens in your life. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not. One of the speakers at the thing that I just did this past weekend has one limb, and that limb has one finger, and he's a bodybuilder, and he has an incredibly happy, fulfilled life. Why? Because he made a decision that that's what's going to happen with his life. And he decided his life was going to be an example. He decided his life was going to have meaning. And guess what? Now he became a very popular motivational speaker. He lifts weights with The Rock. He hangs out with big deal people. He was wearing a Richard Mille watch. Well, that's because he made a decision that even though his physical body was not what most people would think would be what you would want, he's made it into something that really works. So there's really three types of questions that we look at in terms of language/meaning. I mean, there's kind of three chunk ways that we do that. One is we can either focus on what we have or what we don't have. So like for him, instead of focusing on the fact that he only had one limb and that limb only had one finger, he focused on what he did have. He focused on that he did have that limb, that the body that he had was very healthy, that he lived in America, that he lived during a time of the internet, that he lived at a time of things like YouTube, and he figured out ways that he was going to maximize his life. We look at either what we control or what we can't control. That's the second chunk of focus/meaning. So for this guy, he looked at what he could control. Okay, I can't control the fact that I only have one limb, but I can control what I do. I can't control my response to that. And my response is, I'm going to do this. I'm going to live independently. I'm going to use this to my advantage if I can. I'm going to, like I said, he became a bodybuilder. That was his way of attacking for him mentally and physically this physical limitation that he had. He looked at the mind that he had. This is what I can use. So first chunk, what do I have versus what don't I have? So when you're evaluating things, think about that question. If you want to control your focus, instead of looking at what you don't have, look at what you do have. Second chunk, what can I control and what can't I control? So we can't control what happens around us, but we can control our response to it. We can't control coronavirus, but we can control our response. We can't control the weather, but we can control our response. Our example that we've said 39 million times, you can't control the wind, but you can control the sails. And the third chunk questions that we ask ourselves is, what's working versus what's not working? We can either focus on what is working or we can focus on what's not working. Now, should you ignore what's not working? No. You need to see the part that's not working so that you can stop it. Don't just ignore it. Don't just lay there and go, everything's great, la, 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 la. That's the book, The Secret. If I just sit here and send out to the universe that it's going to work, then everything will be great. No. If you just look at your garden and hope that no weeds are going to grow, does that work? No. Gravity is automatic. Weeds are automatic. This is why, in order to have a happy, successful life, it takes effort. If you do nothing, the weeds will grow. Gravity will set in. It takes intensity in order to do this. It takes intention. It takes thought. It takes physical action. It takes consistent approaches. But if you do those things, then over time, you'll get consistent results. And if you continue to do them over time, you'll get consistent, amazing results. So 3 ways that we control our focus and our meaning, that language/meaning section of state. 3 big chunks of questions that we ask ourselves. Is it working or is it not? What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on what I can control, or are you focusing on what you can't control? And are you focusing on what you have or focusing on what you don't have? Write those down. Those are good ones to look at all the time so that you can check yourself throughout the day. What is it that I'm looking at? Am I looking at what's working or not? Am I looking at what I have or what I don't have? And if you start to control, remember, what you're doing is you're creating patterns. You're creating habits. It's just like if you get up and watch these videos every morning, if you get up and do your morning priming, if you get up and you ask your morning questions, those things all start to create patterns. Remember the phrase from Emerson. So a thought, reap a act. So an act, reap a pattern. So a pattern, reap a habit. So a habit, reap a character. So a character, reap a life. It all starts with the thoughts, because the thoughts start with the little things become big things. And it works the other way too. So in order to get the life that you want, it creates intention. It creates action. You have to act. You have to do things in order to make that happen. But you don't have to change the world and be miraculous all in one day. Just do the little things every day and they will add up. Eat the right foods, exercise, read a book for a little while, focus on these questions. These are great ones to write down and have on your computer. Which of these am I paying attention to? Am I paying attention to what I can control? Am I paying attention to what I do have? Am I paying attention to what is working? Consistently do that, and all of a sudden it'll become a habit, and that's what your brain will be trained to do. You only need to do that for 30 days. It's almost the start of December. Just do it until the first of the year. And then you know what? You'll stay in that habit, and that will change your way of thought. That will change your way of approaching life. And quite frankly, it'll have a ridiculously dramatic impact on your life. 5 years from now, you'll look back and be like, I can't believe that I waited that long in order to do that. I hope everybody had a great Turkey Day. Have a great Friday, everybody. Black Friday shopping. Hope everybody gets online and buys something fun. Have a great time. Thanks for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.